If there is one symbol that represents the Jurassic period, it is not the ferocious predators or the bloody battles, but the appearance of the largest creatures ever to walk on land in the entire history of Earth. About 150 million years ago, across flooded plains and among conifer forests stretching all the way to the horizon, herds of giant sauropods moved slowly like walking mountain ranges. Each of their footsteps was so heavy that it could shake the ground. These were not rare, exceptional individuals, but common inhabitants of the Jurassic world. Famous species such as Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, Camarasaurus, and Brachiosaurus dominated many ecosystems across the planet. A Diplodocus could reach more than 30 meters in length, roughly equal to a passenger airplane. Large Brachiosaurus individuals could weigh from 50 to more than 60 tons, equivalent to the combined weight of about 10 adult African elephants. What is astonishing is that their enormous size gave them extremely important advantages. Their long necks, capable of reaching many meters high, allowed them to access food sources that almost no other animal could reach. In the world of the Jurassic period, where conifer forests and tree ferns covered the land, that was a tremendous evolutionary advantage. But if being that large was such an advantage, why do animals today not continue growing to a similar size? The answer lies in the profound difference between dinosaurs and mammals. Mammals must invest a great deal of energy in maintaining a stable body temperature. However, a body that is too large would face the risk of collapsing under its own weight. So, why did that not happen to the dinosaurs? Fossil studies show that nature found astonishing biomechanical solutions. Sauropod legs did not sprawl outward like those of modern lizards. They stood vertically beneath the body like enormous support columns, helping distribute their massive weight far more effectively. But more importantly, their bones were not completely solid inside. Many vertebrae were hollow air-filled chambers, significantly reducing weight while still maintaining absolute mechanical strength, turning themselves into colossal living fortresses that dominated the Jurassic world. And the deeper scientists study, the more they realize a shocking truth. Jurassic dinosaurs were not simply giant reptiles. They were biological machines optimized to an astonishing degree. The first secret lies in their incredible respiratory system. Inside the vertebrae and ribs of many sauropod species, scientists discovered clear traces of an air sac system, similar to that of modern birds, that allowed oxygen to be supplied efficiently throughout both inhalation and exhalation. Sauropods possessed a biological air conditioning system far more advanced than people imagined. Thanks to this pneumatic bone system, the long neck of Brachiosaurus or Diplodocus did not become a deadly burden. Instead, it became an incredibly effective feeding tool. However, even a lighter body and a more efficient respiratory system still required a massive energy source to operate. An adult sauropod could consume hundreds of kilograms of plants each day. Most sauropods barely chewed their food. Their teeth were mainly used to strip leaves, pull young branches, and then swallow them directly. The work of crushing and breaking down food was transferred into the stomach, into the enormous digestive system inside the body. Tons of plant matter would be fermented over a long period of time by a massive colony of specialized gut microorganisms. This allowed them to take in enormous amounts of food at a speed that many modern herbivores could never reach. And then for many years, people once thought that creatures this gigantic must have taken a very long time to mature. But researchers discovered that many sauropod species grew at an astonishing rate, from hatchlings weighing only a few kilograms when they first emerged. They could add tons of body mass during the early years of life. Some species reached adult size in only a few decades, far faster than people once imagined for gigantic animals. It was these highly optimized biological traits that turned Jurassic dinosaurs into true superanimals, pushing beyond the limits that most other land creatures would never reach. But the success of these giant herbivores also created a new pressure. In a world where prey became larger and harder to bring down, only predators with the most specialized biological weapons had a chance to dominate. And out of the dense shadows of the Jurassic forest, the ultimate flesh-slicing machine was preparing to strike. That was when Allosaurus appeared, not only as the largest carnivore in many North American ecosystems of that time, but also as one of the most successful hunting machines evolution had ever created. An adult Allosaurus could reach 8 to 10 meters in length and weigh more than 2 tons. But in nature, the ruler is not always the largest. What matters is the ability to turn the body into a perfect weapon. The special trait of Allosaurus lay in a hunting strategy, completely different from that of Tyrannosaurus, which appeared later. Biomechanical studies show that the bite force of Allosaurus was not especially powerful. How could an apex predator possess a bite force that was not truly superior? The answer lies in the structure of its skull and neck. Its skull was long, light and flexible, allowing the head to move faster and strike with lethal precision. Its curved, sharp, serrated teeth were like blades specialized for slicing flesh. Instead of trying to hold prey with a single bone-crushing bite, Allosaurus most likely rushed in repeatedly, bit deeply into the flesh, and then yanked its head backward with brutal force. It did not need to kill immediately. It only needed to create deep wounds. That caused immense blood loss and weakened its prey. Then, it would continue following its target like a shadow until the opponent no longer had enough strength to resist. This hit-and-run tactic was an incredibly effective strategy. In a world where many herbivores were so large that they were almost impossible to bring down with a single strike, a massive sauropod could withstand a bite. But it could not survive bleeding out over hours of pursuit. Its lethal jaw was not its only weapon. Its long arms with 3 sharp claws were also an important advantage. Unlike the tiny, almost useless arms of the T-Rex, Allosaurus still retained strong and flexible forelimbs that could help hold, slash, or grapple when approaching prey at close range. The fossils themselves tell that violent story. Many sauropod bones have been discovered, bearing tooth marks that exactly match the size and shape of Allosaurus' jaws. Some wounds had actually healed, showing that these terrifying attacks had taken place, while the massive animal was still fully alive. That proves this was not only scavenging activity, but real, brutal hunts unfolding within the Jurassic ecosystem, where the predators had to risk their own lives every single time they went in for the kill. However, becoming the ruler did not mean being safe. Many Allosaurus skeletons have been found with signs of brutal trauma, broken bones, damaged vertebrae, and cracked ribs, or jaws that had once been injured and then miraculously healed. One of their most formidable opponents in this arms race was Stegosaurus, with large, diamond-shaped bony plates along its back, and a highly flexible tail carrying 4 sharp spikes, nearly 1 meter long. Stegosaurus was definitely not easy prey. A single accurate swing of that spiked tail could cause catastrophic injury or instant death to any predator. The power of Allosaurus came from the perfect balance between speed, flexibility, biological weapons, and hunting strategy. But no matter how terrifying it was still only the king of the land. While the dinosaurs engaged in a never-ending war for survival, the land was just a small fraction of the Earth's surface. When the sun sank beneath the horizon, casting long, bloody shadows across the flooded plains, the true scale of the Jurassic world revealed itself. Vast, ancient oceans covered much of the planet, and beneath those dark, mysterious waves, creatures completely unrelated to dinosaurs had established an empire of their own. These were marine reptiles, highly specialized biological submarines, that had abandoned the land to conquer the deep abyss, where light almost completely disappeared, and pressure would crush any ordinary creature. Even stranger, more mysterious predators waited in the cold silence, because beneath the surface, a monster with a mouth large enough to swallow an entire human whole was lurking. One of the most famous terrors of the Jurassic Ocean was Liopleurodon, a short-necked plesiosaur belonging to the pliosaur group. In the past, Liopleurodon was once mythologized as a sea monster, reaching 25 meters in length and weighing over 100 tons. However, Modern scientific evidence has brought this creature back to reality. An adult Liopleurodon actually only reached about 6 to 7 meters in length and weighed around 1 to 1.5 tons. But do not let that size fool you. In the ocean of that era, it did not need to be the size of a modern blue whale to become a top-tier killing machine. Unlike modern sharks or whales, which propel themselves using their tails, Liopleurodon possessed 4 massive paddle-like flippers, similar to modern sea turtles but much more powerful. This unique 4-flipper structure allowed them to accelerate incredibly fast over short distances and change direction abruptly, making them highly agile hunters in ambush situations. Armed with a skull that could reach 1.5 meters long and a mouth filled with cone-shaped, dagger-like teeth, Liopleurodon was a nightmare for any creature that crossed its path, including its own distant relatives. Because sharing this ocean with Liopleurodon were the long-necked plesiosaurs. These were marine reptiles with an extremely bizarre body structure. They had a broad, flat body, 4 large flippers, and a long snake-like neck ending in a small head. Plesiosaurs were not dinosaurs. They belonged to a completely separate lineage of reptiles that had evolved to adapt entirely to an aquatic life. Instead of swimming by undulating their bodies like fish, they used their 4 flippers to fly through the water. Similar to how penguins or sea turtles swim today, their impossibly long neck was a perfect evolutionary adaptation for hunting schools of small, agile fish. When approaching a school of fish, the bulky body of the plesiosaur could remain hidden from a distance, while the long neck acted like a flexible dart, striking forward rapidly, catching prey before the fish even realized that a giant predator was approaching. But in the unforgiving Jurassic Ocean, every advantage comes with a fatal flaw. That long, flexible neck was extremely effective for hunting small fish, but it also became their most vulnerable weak point when facing a heavy-duty killer like Liopleurodon. In the dark depths, Liopleurodon would use its excellent sense of smell to track the movements of plesiosaurs. It would lurk in the deeper, darker waters below, waiting for the perfect moment. When the plesiosaur was distracted by hunting fish near the surface, Liopleurodon would launch a brutal surprise attack from below, using its massive jaws to strike directly at the unprotected body or the fragile long neck of its prey. With its terrifying bite force, the battle would end quickly. The Jurassic Ocean was a place where no one was truly safe. But the monsters of the land and the horrors of the sea were not the only rulers of this planet. Above the towering conifer forests and the blood-stained oceans, a completely different kind of creature had conquered the final frontier: the sky. They were not birds. They were not flying dinosaurs. They were pterosaurs, winged reptiles that had mastered the art of powered flight, millions of years before the first bird ever took to the air. From small, agile hunters with sharp-toothed beaks to massive gliders with wingspans that would rival a small aircraft, they ruled the heavens. But an evolutionary miracle was quietly unfolding in the shadows, one that would eventually steal the sky from them forever. For tens of millions of years, the skies belonged to the pterosaurs. They were not flying dinosaurs, but a closely related group of highly specialized reptiles that had independently evolved the ability to fly, long before birds or bats ever existed. In the Jurassic period, they diversified into many different forms, from small, agile insect hunters to coastal predators that snatched fish from the ocean surface. One of the most iconic pterosaurs of this era was Rhamphorhynchus. It possessed a long tail ending in a diamond-shaped skin flap, which acted as a highly effective rudder during flight, allowing it to make sharp, precise turns in mid-air. Its jaws were lined with sharp, needle-like teeth, perfectly designed for gripping slippery prey, such as fish or ancient squid. Unlike the feathered wings of modern birds, the wings of pterosaurs were made of a complex membrane of skin and muscle, stretching from their elongated fourth finger down to their ankles. This membrane was not just a simple flap of skin. It was reinforced with specialized stiffening fibers, allowing the wing to maintain its aerodynamic shape under extreme pressure. Their bodies were also incredibly lightweight, thanks to a system of hollow bones filled with air sacs, very similar to the respiratory system of the giant sauropods. This extraordinary biological engineering made them the absolute masters of the prehistoric skies. With no natural predators capable of challenging them in the air, they spread across every continent, thriving in almost every environment on Earth. However, their long-standing reign was about to face a completely new kind of challenger. Deep within the dense, shadowed canopy of the Jurassic forest, away from the giant predators roaming the ground, a quiet revolution in evolution was taking place. Among the branches of the ancient conifer trees, small agile theropod dinosaurs were adapting to a new way of life. At first glance, they looked like typical predatory dinosaurs. They had sharp teeth, a long bony tail, and deadly claws. But nature had equipped them with a revolutionary feature: feathers. Initially, feathers evolved not for flight, but likely for thermal insulation, helping these small, warm-blooded dinosaurs maintain their body temperature, or for vibrant visual displays during mating rituals. But over millions of years, these structures grew longer and more complex, eventually transforming their forelimbs into something entirely new. Enter Archaeopteryx. Often considered the most famous missing link in paleontology, it perfectly straddled the line between reptile and bird. It possessed the jaws and teeth of a carnivorous dinosaur, 3 distinct clawed fingers on its hands, and a long bony reptilian tail, but its body was covered in advanced, asymmetrical flight feathers, identical in structure to those of modern birds. Archaeopteryx was not a powerful flyer like the pterosaurs. It likely used its feathered wings to glide from tree to tree, or to assist in climbing steep trunks, a technique called incline running. By furiously flapping its wings, it could generate enough lift and traction to scale vertical surfaces to escape ground predators. This was the humble beginning of the avian empire. These early feathered dinosaurs were small and vulnerable, dwelling in the shadows of giants. But they held an evolutionary secret that would guarantee their survival. While the giant sauropods, the fearsome Allosaurus, and the majestic pterosaurs would eventually face total extinction, the descendants of these small, feathered gliders would endure every global catastrophe to become the thousands of bird species we see today. They are the last living dinosaurs on Earth, but the Jurassic world they inhabited was not a peaceful or stable environment. Deep beneath their feet, the Earth itself was restless. The incredible supercontinent of Pangea, which had united all land masses, was now groaning under unimaginable tectonic pressure, preparing to tear the world apart. For tens of millions of years, almost all of Earth's landmass was locked together in a single colossal supercontinent, known as Pangea. But during the Jurassic period, the incredible forces beneath the Earth's crust began to tear this massive landmass apart. Deep underground, plumes of superheated magma surged upward, creating immense pressure against the continental plates. The Earth's crust began to stretch, thin, and eventually crack open, forming massive rift valleys that stretched for thousands of kilometers. This was the beginning of the end for Pangea. As the rifts deepened, they opened pathways to the oceans. Water flooded into the massive chasms, creating entirely new, shallow seas between the splitting continents. This geological event did not happen overnight. It was a slow, agonizing process that completely redrew the map of the world. The breakup of Pangea triggered intense volcanic activity. Massive eruptions pumped millions of tons of greenhouse gases into the Earth's atmosphere, causing global temperatures to fluctuate wildly. While this event did not cause a catastrophic mass extinction, like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs much later, it still had a profound impact on the climate and the ecosystems of the Jurassic world. As the continents drifted apart, ocean currents shifted drastically, altering weather patterns and bringing moisture to previously arid regions. Vast deserts transformed into lush green environments, allowing the giant sauropods and ancient forests to spread even further. But for many species, the changing world was a death sentence. Those that could not adapt quickly enough simply faded into history. Perhaps the most significant consequence of Pangea breaking apart was the isolation of species. When all landmasses were connected, Animals could freely migrate from one end of the Earth to the other. But as the continents separated, forming the Atlantic Ocean, populations of dinosaurs were permanently cut off from one another. An Allosaurus living in what is now North America could no longer mate with its relatives in Africa. This geographical isolation acted as an evolutionary catalyst. Trapped on different landmasses, species were forced to adapt to their unique, local environments. They evolved in completely different directions, giving rise to an explosion of new, highly specialized dinosaur species. The separation of Pangea set the stage for the incredible diversity that would define the next era of Earth's history, the Cretaceous period. The Jurassic period was a time of extremes. It was an era that pushed biological engineering to its absolute limits, producing the largest land animals in the history of our planet. It forged the most terrifying and efficient predators the world had ever seen. It witnessed the conquest of the skies by winged reptiles and the quiet, humble beginnings of the very first birds. But perhaps its greatest legacy is the profound reminder of Earth's incredible capacity for change. The very ground we walk on today, the continents we live on, were shaped by the violent tectonic forces of the Jurassic. The giants may be gone, buried beneath millions of years of rock, but their story remains etched in the stone, waiting for us to uncover the secrets of Earth's greatest age of giants. If you are fascinated by the terrifying mysteries of prehistoric Earth, make sure to subscribe to Survival Geography, hit the like button, and share this video with your fellow explorers. What do you think was the most terrifying creature of the Jurassic period? Was it the colossal sauropods that shook the Earth, the flesh-slicing Allosaurus, or the silent, deadly monsters lurking in the deep ocean? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out our other full documentaries, exploring the brutal and awe-inspiring history of our planet, from the age of giant insects to the rise of the very first monsters. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next era of survival geography.